You got Overreaction Monday conversation over there? Let's hit it, please.
That was terrible. That was crap. That was garbage. This place sucks.
Overreaction Monday.
Christopher, have at it with me, sir.
All right, the man of the hour, Nick Foles.
Yes.
Better quarterback than Carson Wentz.
Not an overreaction right now. It's all about them. You know, it would be, let's get to it right here.
Let's do it.
If Nick Foles takes this team to the NFC Championship game or even further, you have to sit here and say, is it with the money on the line when he does it over weeks 1 through 16 outside of that 1 year he had with Chip Kelly? By the way, that season with Chip Kelly wound up with Foles losing his first career playoff start against the Saints, the only team to have beaten Nick Foles in a playoff game. Nick, as we all know, won all his games last year and then his first one this year. So you have to sit here and say, can he do it with the season not all on the line in a do or die game and get you to the playoffs so he can perform his magic in the postseason? That's going to be the conversation that the Eagles have in a quiet moment. And he's 30, so you can get a few more years left. You have to consider that, but it's not an overreaction to say that.
Yeah, Nick Foles, free agent in 2019. Carson Wentz due $4 million next year, club option for 2020.
Again, the Eagles have until 30 days before the new league year, meaning sometime next month, they've got to tell Nick Foles your $20 million option for next year is picked up, but it's mutual. So Foles then has 5 days to say yay or nay, and he'll say no to that because he'll get multiple years from somebody at way more than $20 million. I
think if he beats the Saints, it's the conversation that needs to be had.
That's why it's not an overreaction.
Next up, the Los Angeles Chargers, the most complete team in the National Football
I don't know. What does that mean? That's like when you hear a boxer pound for pound. What does that mean, most complete team?
Complete. All three phases. Offense, defense, special teams, and throw in the fourth. Head coaching.
Excuse me. The Saints offense is terrific. The Saints defense has been balling out. And the special teams, the punter hardly ever punts. And Will Lutz is a pretty good field goal kicker. I mean, everybody's complete right now. I don't understand what the hell that means. Most complete team.
Okay.
Seriously. I mean.
All right. Well, you know what it means. It means when you watch them, you don't see any weaknesses.
So how can we say the Colts are not the most complete team? Their offense is on tilt. Their defense hardly gave up a point this weekend in Houston. And it's Adam Vinatieri, the GOAT. Special teams.
I tried to tell you a couple weeks ago that the Colts were a sleeping giant.
So the Colts could be the most complete team. The Cowboys are a pretty damn complete team right now with everybody going off on offense.
So you're saying?
I'm saying it's an overreaction. I'm not saying a reaction, overreaction. I'm saying I might be overreacting to the concept of what the hell that means. What else?
Joe Flacco deserved to play in the second half yesterday.
That's an overreaction. He didn't deserve. I mean, look, come on, man. John Harbaugh's sitting there, and you heard what Tracy Wolfson asked him that question. Are you going to play Joe Flacco? Are you considering that in the second half? And she said his answer was, I respect you for asking that question, but I'm going to decline to answer it. I'm not going to talk about it because if Lamar Jackson struggled, he would have put Joe Flacco in the game. Or he had no consideration of putting Lamar in the game because he thinks he's going to be the coach there for much longer or for longer than this. And this is part of the maturation process.
But he was terrible.
He was terrible until he almost won the game.
Because the Chargers were lax because the game was over.
He got sacked 7 times. It was funny. When I first thought about maybe they should put Lamar in the game, that left guard was getting beat like the rented mule.
Melvin Ingram
proverbial
was.
rented mule.
Melvin Ingram was a monster.
So the number of times that Flacco would have been sacked even more. So I can't sit here and say that Joe Flacco deserved to play in the second half. But what he did, though, was he didn't pout. He kept ready. You could see sometimes he was saying stuff to Lamar Jackson. He was a professional, a lead pipe wielding pro that is going to make a second act somewhere and I think be successful at it. That he deserves.
I mean, you knew that he was going to be a professional about it, but
no,
wouldn't you have liked to have heard him say after the game, hey, look, after all I've done for this franchise, I won them a Super Bowl. I deserve to have gotten a shot.
In a quiet moment, if you were ever so fortunate to sit there with Steve Young, ask him what Joe Montana did. If you're ever in a quiet moment and you can ask Aaron Rodgers what Brett Favre did. If you're in a quiet moment and ask Jimmy G what Tom Brady did. You can't expect guys to sit there and go, okay, you've taken my job. I've got all these kids that are in school here in the Baltimore area, and I won a Super Bowl here, and you're taking my job. some people will find it in them to turn inward and not do what he did.
So why wouldn't he have said that after the game?
Because he's a pro. That's why.
It's not a pro to say, hey, look, to just state facts. That's also being professional.
It's professional to leave the it's a high road, high class, I think, professional thing to do, and I think Flacco deserves that credit. What else?
Let's stay with the Ravens. John Harbaugh will be coaching elsewhere in 2019.
I am hearing that he told his coaches yesterday that you've got a job, but didn't fill in the blank as to where the job was. And he's probably making some wise maneuvers sitting there saying, okay, Ozzie Newsome is not here anymore. I've got a new general manager who's I don't know what the nature of his relationship is, but to use some form of leverage to get a better deal within the construct of the organization, or he wants out. It's going to be a fascinating next few days. I'll tell you that. That's Overreaction Monday here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.